What is something bad you have done with no regrets? Worked as an orthopedic nurse for 2 years. The orthopedic director, Dr. Fuck, was not only a tyrant, but he also didn't believe people had any pain after having a total knee replacement. I frequently got orders from him for Tylenol, when patients said they were in agony. I sat beside so many times holding the hands of innocent little old ladies we were in excruciating pain. I spent so much of my shift calling Dr. Fuck and demanding pain medication for suffering people, only for him to order non-narcotic pain relief, ice, walking, massage. He finally blew a gasket one day, and codified all the things we had to try before contacting the physician for pain relief. The smug prick even codified it into policy. One day, I arrived for work to find all my coworkers arguing about taking a patient. This wasn't news, because we had any number of frequent flying Karens, who could make your shift awful. The patient was Dr. Fuck. He had a total knee done. I had a smile as big as the Grinch on Christmas when I volunteered to take him. On assessment, he rated his pain a 10 on a 0 to 10 scale. I told him his pain couldn't be that bad, it's just a knee surgery. Didn't you tell me it doesn't hurt? Dr. Fuck demanded I get him some IV morphine or Dilaudid. No can do, doc. You're not the physician on this case, and it's policy that we try all these other things before I call. I made him work through the whole list like everyone else before. At the end of my shift he was crying so hard, he was blowing snot bubbles. I don't feel bad at all. After his stay, his orders changed to include pain medication. What is important for virgins to know about their first time? The hole is actually a bit further south than you would think, but not too south. It gets better. It's the biggest deal in the world before it happens, and not that big of a deal after it happens. Don't take tips from porn. Sex is fun, but also totally ridiculous. Be safe. Use birth control. Talk about it and laugh about it. If you can't tell them that it's your first time, it's probably not the right person. Nobody expects your first time to be good. If anything, it's your first. They don't expect much at all. So just go for it and enjoy it. If it sucks or doesn't last long, then just blow it off and just say, well, I guess we need to practice together more. It only takes one nut to be a father. The more you know. The female will eat the male if she's unsatisfied. The reason you might not have heard about this is because all males who fail to satisfy the female are dead. No pressure. What exactly happens if someone were to call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline? How do they try to help you? Are there other hotlines that are better? The first time I called, I still remember to this day. I was in between therapist appointments, and I was struggling really bad. I called and got connected to some guy, and he asked me what he could help me with. I guess I didn't think that far ahead, and after about 10 seconds I just kind of stuttered out, I don't know. And God, it must have just been the way he said it, but he just said, "What's going on, man?" Like an old pal that was ready to help. I broke down and told him everything. He talked to me like I was an equal, something I really needed at that time. Once I felt better, and like I could get through my day, I thanked him for his time, and the service he was providing. He had a few questions in there that I knew he had to ask. Was I planning anything? Was I in danger? Etc. But he sprinkled them throughout. We talked for about 25 minutes. A few days later I made a small donation to the hotline. They helped me, and I want them to be there to help others. George Carlin said, "Think of how stupid the average person is, and realize half of them are stupider than that." What real-life example have you seen that validates this view? I worked at a bank. Mobile depositing had just become a thing. We received a picture of someone's cash for deposit. Yeah. A woman I used to work with who insisted that any animal could reproduce with any other animal. She believed that sperm from any animal was the same and that DNA was irrelevant. She believed this because she once saw some sickly, possibly deformed puppies and decided that they must have been half dog and half rat. The fact that Florida had to tell people not to shoot at the hurricane. I teach 6th grade. One time a parent came to me after trying to help their child with math homework and asked, "What number is X worth?" It feels like it changes with every problem. In grade 10, we had a science test, and the teacher gave 1 point for putting a date on the paper, and 1 point for your name on the paper. And then there were 98 points for the rest of the test. A guy sitting in front of me got 0.5 out of 100. Didn't write the date and only wrote his first name. People that cut holes in their masks because it's easier to breathe. What's the cringiest thing you've seen a bride and groom do for their wedding? At a classmate's wedding, they were young, maybe like 22, 23? There is apparently a caking tradition in some parts of the country, where when they cut the wedding cake, the couple feed each other a bit and smear each other's faces with cake as a joke. The bride had absolutely made 1000% clear to the groom she did not want to be caked. He did it anyways, and not just a small smear, but full on smashed the slice in her face. She was stunned initially, then got up, face full of cake, yelled, "You asshole, I told you not to do that," and then ran to a back area in the reception. The groom tried to follow, but the bridesmaid/mother of the bride stopped him, so he sat at the head of the table awkwardly while half the wedding party rushed off with the bride. She stayed back there for like an hour. They eventually did let him back there to check on her. We could hear her crying and them arguing. The rest of the reception came to a screeching halt until one of the bride's aunts emerged and directed the servers to clear the tables and put on some music. They got divorced 2 years later. There's probably a guy out there that thinks he has a strong pull-out game when in reality he is not capable of making children. The first guy who ate cheese was so hungry that he was okay that his milk has gotten so bad that it had transformed itself from a liquid to a solid. Boobs themselves are not private parts, nipples are the private parts. On women. Every pizza can be a mushroom pizza if you are patient enough. If you find a $100 bill on the ground and it takes you a second to pick it up, for that brief moment you are making $360,000 per hour. If you take a shortcut that reliably gets you to your destination faster than another route, it's not a shortcut, it's the correct route. When you're a kid playing truth or dare, dare is the scary option. When you are an adult it's truth. Shapeshifters can technically make their dick any size. Since electronics contain silver, you could theoretically beat a werewolf to death with a Nokia. Kinda weird that there isn't just free drinking water everywhere. A single man cannot have a box of tissues in his room without it looking suspicious. Women of Reddit, what things do men do that frighten you without them even realizing it? A guy I'm seeing took me out to a baseball game for our first date. It was nice, I didn't get any weird vibes from him at all. After the game, he asked if I wanted to go see some of the spots he likes to go walking. I didn't think too much about it until we got there and I realized he was basically taking me to the woods in the dark. He told me to follow him and I'm thinking I'm about to get killed, but it turns out he just wanted to show me his favorite place to go on walks and chill because you can see the entire city from there and at night it looks really pretty. He took me to a couple more trails that night and I ended up having a great time and forgot that it's pitch black outside and I'm with a guy I've never gone out with before out in nature. Definitely thought I was going to get killed at first though.